Quest Audiobooks presents an unabridged recording of East Indiaman by Griff Hosker. Narrated by Medcroft. Prologue. I was a good thief when I lived alone in London. I still am a good thief. I know because I didn't get caught. Although that is not entirely true, I do not want to spoil the tale too early. Let us just say that I could steal, and I made a good living from it. There is little point in false modesty, for if I had not been so good at what I did, then I would have died, and none would know my story. One thing I will say, I never hurt anyone. That is not to say I did not defend myself. I did, for after my family left, I had to defend myself. I lived in an unforgiving part of England. I was what they called a wharf rat. We were the orphans who swarmed round the docks at Blackwall, which was on the eastern side of London. How there came to be so many of us, I do not know. The other orphans were the nearest friends that I had. They were not real friends. They were more like acquaintances in the same business of stealing to stay alive. There were many inns used by sailors, and as most of them had sailed from lands many months to the east, then the women who served in the inns and alehouses were readily sought. The children of such liaisons could easily find themselves alone. The whores and sailors often died young. There were others, I suppose, who were sailors and they simply did not return. My story was a little different to most. Before he was taken from us, my father had been a sailor on an East Indiaman. Those ships plied the seas, mainly to Asia, bringing spices and treasures home. It was a well-paid job, and certainly safer and more profitable than serving the king in his navy. It was why we lived where we did. We had a small house with a bedroom, kitchen, and a room where we ate and sat. Looking back, it was almost luxurious. We ate reasonably well. We ate meat, sometimes 5 times in a month, especially when my father was home. I can barely remember him, for he came home so briefly. He would land, reeking of salt and the sea, with a skin that was burnished brown and his hair tied in a pigtail. He would hug us all, even me, and he showered gifts on my mother and gave her hugs and cuddles. I believe they loved each other. He gave my mother money, and normally fathered another child before he was off again. The longest time I remember him being home was 5 weeks. My mother accepted her life, for we had clothes and a roof, and we were able to live better than many around us.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?